Hi, I'm Ariane from the International Koalition of Krones. The animal that has come forward with a message for humanity sort of threw me into a bit of a tailspin. Seemed really weird. This animal gives and receives messages all day, every day, to humanity all around the globe in thousands of different ways. Why come forward with another message? Why use this forum? So I sat in it for a few days. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe another animal will show up. But no, this was insistent, and really, I should know better by now than to try and second guess things. So, strange as it may seem, humanity is receiving a message from the dominant species on this planet, humans. Suppose in a way I shouldn't be too surprised. A little while ago I shared a message from ant, that species which, if it had been capable of independent thought rather than the hive mind, would probably be the rulers here instead of us. The way that animal medicine works through me is that the animal comes forward and makes itself known to me in some way. And then I hop on Google and I have a little bit of a research and learn something about that animal itself, the way its life, characteristics, abilities. And once I have a picture in my mind, I sit down at my laptop, meditate for a while, and then I start typing, and the message just comes through. I'm a pretty speedy typist, roughly 90 words a minute, which is just as well, because that flow of information can really be pretty rapid. So what did I find on Google when researching humans? I discounted all the ads for books and the religious stuff and went looking for what makes a human, well, a human. And as I randomly scrolled through the info that was presented, the messages and the deep understanding as to why human was the animal with a message to make itself known happened to be. I found that the term Homo sapien actually means wise man. Yep, we are supposed to be wiser than other creatures, than other species. Really? Are we the wisest species? Just think about our history. Think about the wars and the bloodshed, the dominance of one person or one group over another. Think about witch hunts and genocide, slavery, the Inquisition. Are these things wise? Yep, some of us, indeed most of us, I'd hope, understand that these things are not right, that they're no longer acceptable. But we still choose people who don't understand this to rule over us. We choose the people that appear the strongest, the most dominant, the loudest and most colourful, to guide us and to make choices about our future. And none of these people that we choose as our leaders look very far forward into the future of our children's children to the 7th generation and beyond. They look to what they can do in their term of office, 4 years. It's not long enough. If we were wise, we would choose leaders from amongst those who are humble, those who work in service to all beings on this planet. We know that humanity holds wonderful gifts of individual thinking, of compassion, of the ability to look at and resolve a problem for the betterment of all beings on this planet. And if we were wise, we would be following the path that chooses these things above all else. So human asks, what happened to our wisdom? We talk of ourselves as human beings, yet in my research I learned that the difference between a human and a human being is simply whether you're alive or not, whether you exist. Basically, I read there are two types of humans, the living and the non-living, and I'm pretty sure they didn't mean zombies. A being is something that has existence. Therefore, a human being is a human who exists. I suppose it's quite correct to talk about ant beings and elephant beings and dog beings, but that thought seems to humanize the ants and the elephants and the dogs and the other creatures. I'd not really thought of that one before. So human asks, when did we appropriate that term? When did we decide that only humans are beings? Do we consider ourselves the only animal that is conscious of its existence? We are considered, classified as animals. That's because we can move about on our own. We're not tied down to one spot like a plant. We have a backbone, so we're classified as chordates, or maybe it's chordates, I'm not up on the pronunciation. We have hair and milk glands, and that makes us mammals. Like all other animals, we have instincts, genetically hardwired behaviours that allow us to cope with environmental contingencies. But that survival system, the one we know as fight or flight response, doesn't just happen to us. It's available to all animals. So human asks, why do we believe we are so unique? Why do we act as if it's our right to destroy our planet, our home? What is it about us that is so superior that it gives us the right to hold power over all other beings? We're actually no more intelligent than any other animal, than many other animals. We underestimate the brain power of other species because we measure everything by our human standards. And especially, we use the ability of speech. We feel that we are superior because we can talk to each other. We don't see or fully understand that elephants, dolphins, birds, and probably every other species talk to each other too. Although in my mind, we are getting better on this one. Human asks, yes, a lion couldn't hop in a car and drive to work in the city. But does that make him less intelligent than a human? Could you survive a week or longer in the jungle or on the savannah? Are we still evolving? You betcha we are, but it's subtle. Evolution doesn't happen overnight. It takes thousands, if not millions of years for evolutionary changes to take place. And this is where our message from human is coming from. This is the focus. It's why the questions have been asked. We're at a point in the evolution of humanity where new changes are about to happen. Changes not only in the timelines that we are choosing to follow, but in our physiology too. And we have the opportunity to make that evolution a conscious choice. We can choose at this point in time what direction we go. And humans are preparing for moving into higher and higher frequencies. Does this mean, as some believe, that we'll move into a crystalline-based body based instead of a carbon-based one? I don't know. Humanity doesn't know. But if it is that, then it's not going to change overnight. There are so many neophytes out there who think they're going to wake up one morning with 12 strands of active DNA and a crystalline body. That won't happen. Any change of that magnitude will be a super long game. And humans have to learn to survive with other beings, not in spite of them, if we're going to survive as a species long enough for that change to happen. We are at a node point, a nexus in linear time. The timeline we are currently appearing to choose is right here. You see it all around us. We're choosing the fear and the anger, the separation from each other, isolation. As a collective, we are choosing the rabbit hole. We are choosing to believe falsehoods and deliberate plays with our energy. We are choosing to feed the dark path. We are choosing these things, and we're not necessarily doing it consciously. We have to become conscious of what we choose, because we still have time to turn things around before it becomes something that we will have to live with for the next half of our precession cycle, the next 13,000 years. But it does require a complete rethink of our place in the conscious beingness of this planet and of our galaxy. And even as we must make these choices regarding our future timeline, our human body is also on the brink of physiological changes. Evolution doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow process, and we are at the very start of the changes that we will need to make to our human body in order to live in a higher frequency realm, in order to be physically capable of traveling to the stars, of interacting with other beings. We, as a collective, need to become more serious about how we look after our bodies. Not only at what we ingest, but how it came to be available to us. We need to make our bodies strong in order to prepare for the growth and physical changes our species is going to undergo. We need to stop draining the resources of our planet, of Gaia, and to start the movement to that higher level of conscious living through making our choices wisely. We need to become that which our species is currently called Homo sapien, wise man. I am Krone Auri'An of the International Koalition of Krones. Thank you for joining me in our sacred work aided by all beings who call Gaia their home. I hope you take time to ponder the questions asked today by human medicine. And when choices are given to you, that you choose the wise path. Please hit subscribe and the notification buttons so you don't miss any of the International Koalition of Krones future programs. You can also find us on Facebook. The links are below. It's been my honor to bring this medicine to you. Gaisha.